In a survey of more than 1,500 chief executive officers, creativity ranked as the #1 factor for future success, above even integrity and vision. When I teach my classes, one of the first things I do is ask people if they think they are creative. The overwhelming majority of people believe that they are not. They are wrong. Everyone is creative. You are creative. You were born with a creative muscle. You may not have used it in a while, and it may have atrophied, but it's still there. And like any muscle, you can exercise and tone it. Today, I'll try and give you some ways to do that. Have you heard of companies asking open-ended, kind of oddball questions during a job interview? Some of the biggest companies in the world will ask their candidates questions that may not have a correct answer, just to test their creativity and their ability to think on their feet, and to see if they can face a challenge. They may ask you why you want the job, but they will also ask a question that you may have never thought of before. Pretty well-known places like Google, Apple, and Facebook, and large investment firms all do this. These companies have been known to ask questions like, why are manhole covers round? Or, how would you test an elevator? Or how many pennies would fit in this room? How would you calculate the annual revenue of Alabama's college football program? These questions test your creative muscle because creativity is highly sought after across industries. Think of some of the most famous inventions or something you use every day. Take the wheel as a very basic example. Someone thousands of years ago thought out of the box to design or create a wheel or a circular shape to be used for chariots and wheelbarrows to solve a problem. This creative thought and invention turned into something we use every day: a bicycle, your car, shopping carts. One initial idea often leads to other creative ideas. Think of the telephone. Created in the 1800s as a basic communication device, the telephone morphed into having one in every household, to wireless home phones, and now to cell phones. Creative thinkers are behind all of these ideas, and they drive the success of many businesses and industries. Without creative thinkers, we'd have the same ideas, the same solutions, and no progress. Let's start with the most important rule in practicing or being creative. The first rule of creativity is have fun. Creativity should be fun. The more you laugh and roll your eyes, the less seriously you take yourself, even when addressing a serious issue. The more likely that you'll be able to develop different and creative ideas. And besides, fun is, fun. Have a good time. And we're going to have fun today with a few interactive activities. You can participate as we go along or save them for later. If you want to participate now, just grab a pen or a pencil and a piece of paper. Okay, so what does it mean when we call something creative? To be called creative, something first has to be new. It could be new to the creator or new to the world, but it needs to be new in some way. To be truly creative, it also has to be relevant or useful in some way. After all, it's kind of easy to just do something new. Right now, you could poke your monitor like you're poking me in the eye, and I'm betting that you've never done that before. So it's new, but it doesn't really serve any kind of purpose. So is it really creative? Probably not. So to be truly creative, we have to come up with something new and meaningful in some way. But creativity doesn't have to mean that you compose a symphony, paint a masterpiece, or develop a best-selling product. That would be kind of intimidating if you thought that being creative meant being the next Steve Jobs. Everyday creativity can result from finding little ways to make your life or someone else's life just a little bit better. If I find a new route home tonight that gets me home 5 minutes faster, that's creative. So while we can shoot for sublime creativity like that of Jobs or Picasso, we can also shoot for little everyday acts of creativity, and that'll be enough to strengthen your creative muscle. To summarize, creativity should be fun. It should be new and meaningful, and it's possible to welcome creativity into your everyday life. We've established that creativity is important to spark new ideas, but it really is important for modern businesses and leaders. In today's business world, success is not achieved by working harder than the competition. It's achieved through innovation and finding creative solutions. Like we hear all the time, any business that isn't constantly innovating is falling behind. For example, I want all of you right now to reach into your pocket and pull out your BlackBerry phone. Right? That's my point. So how do you as a manager inspire your team to be creative and think of something that no one else has? The first thing you should do is build a diverse team. We all know Einstein, Edison, and Benjamin Franklin, and they are the exceptions and not the rule. Building a team with varied perspectives, talents, and backgrounds leads to better and stronger ideas. It's your job as a manager to take this collection of brainpower and use it for a singular purpose or common goal. If you choose to have a brainstorming session, let people know in advance what the topic is so that team members who tend to be more introverted have time to process the task and contribute to the discussion. Also, invite people from all across the organization. No one group or person has a patent on good ideas. Someone from the IT department might have an idea that helps the marketing group. Next, while it's not always possible, remove deadlines and time constraints, or at least plan your creativity to allow plenty of time. Research has shown that people are less creative when they are working under a tight deadline. Spending hour upon hour beating your head against a wall trying to come up with a creative idea by brute force alone, by a certain date and a certain time, almost never leads to a desired outcome. You need to build in some time to incubate your ideas, to let your subconscious work on the problem while you are thinking of something else. Do you know where many great ideas occur? In the shower. One former student called his shower his idea box. Incubation doesn't have to take a long time. Go for a walk or participate in a fun activity. Very few of us will play the role of Bruce Willis in Armageddon and have to stop an asteroid before it destroys the Earth. Give yourself some extra time to develop that new software, build that website, or design that new car model. I guarantee you, your boss and your organization will be happier with the final outcome. Lastly, if you're the manager, make sure your vision is clear and the desired outcome is understood. High-performing creative teams need space and freedom to develop ideas. But if they are confused or heading down the wrong path due to a lack of direction, a lot of time and effort will be wasted. Just be sure that you and your team knows that if you want a creative solution to a problem, that might include a creative redefinition of the problem itself. Creativity results from two opposite but complementary cognitive processes, both of which are critical. The first is divergent thinking, or coming up with lots of ideas. This is where the newness develops. The second, as you might have guessed, is convergent thinking, narrowing down those ideas to the few you want to pursue. This is where the usefulness or meaningfulness comes in. Let's talk about the difference between convergent and divergent thinking. We are all very, very good at convergent thinking. We learn in school to pick one right answer on the standardized test, to figure out the one way to do something that will please the boss, or to find the one answer to the business case that the professor is really looking for. And convergent thinking is very important. There are times when there is one right answer, and you should always circle the best answer on the multiple choice test. But life is not a multiple choice test, and when you're trying to be creative, you also need divergent thinking. You need to go beyond the first idea you develop and develop many, many more that you can then choose from. Both divergent and convergent thinking are important to creativity. One author likened them to the gas and brake pedals in a car. You probably don't want to drive a car without both, but you don't want to press them both at the same time. You first press the gas, and then you press the brake, or you don't get anywhere. You first think divergently, and then convergently, or you won't get anywhere either. So our first goal is to practice divergent thinking. To do that, you first need to silence the voice of judgment, that little voice in your head that says, among other things, no, that's a dumb idea. That voice is useful when it comes to convergent thinking, though I would tell it to quit calling your ideas dumb if I were you. Remember, it's easier to tone down a crazy idea than it is to pump life into a boring one. So as you think divergently, try to be as crazy as possible. For your first exercise, I want you to get out that piece of paper and pen, take out your phone, and set a timer for 5 minutes. I'm going to give you a task. When I say go, pause the video, start your timer, and do the task. Go for the full 5 minutes. That's important. No cheating. Okay, here's the task. Ready? Okay, come up with as many uses for an ordinary paperclip as you can. Go. If you did the exercise now, welcome back. That's called a divergent thinking task, and it's one measure of creativity. If you did this for the full 5 minutes, chances are you felt like that was an eternity, and there were probably lulls in your writing where you stared at the paper and nothing came to mind. And that's all right. That's part of the game. I'll bet that the ideas that came up after that lull were the most creative ones on your list. The next muscle to exercise is what author Roger von Oesch in his book, A Whack on the Side of the Head, calls the second right answer. Let me ask you a question. What is half of 8? If you said 4, that is an excellent right answer. But what's the next right answer? Could it be 0, 3, E, EIJ, CHT? If you're trying to be creative, don't just stick with your first right answer, no matter how right it is. Look for the next one and the next one after that. If you look back at your list of paperclip ideas, the first ones were probably pretty easy. They were the low-hanging fruits. It was after you got past the first easy ones that you got much more creative. A French philosopher said, "There's nothing so dangerous as someone with a single idea." So don't just have a single idea. Have one good idea and put it aside and save it, and move on to the next good idea, and then the next one. Then, when you converge, you can pick all of the best ones. To be creative, there are 2 things you need. First, you shouldn't be afraid to fail. Failing is just one step towards success. Thomas Edison said he didn't fail at creating a light bulb 10,000 times. He succeeded at finding ways to not create a light bulb 10,000 times. Right now, take that sheet of paper you wrote your paperclip ideas on, ball it up, pick a target 20 or so feet away, and try and hit it. Only pick a living being as a target if you know them very well. Go ahead, I'll wait. If you hit the target, congrats. Now pick another target. But if you missed, so what? Did anything really bad happen? Granted, there are times in life when not hitting the target might result in a truly bad outcome. Those are the times when you shouldn't be trying to be creative. In order to be creative, you have to take risks, and that includes the risk of failure. Second, it's very important to be optimistic. Believe that eventually something good will come of your efforts. You may not be able to see that endpoint yet, but you have to believe that it will come. So here's another activity to exercise your creative muscle. Grab another blank sheet of paper and your pen. When I say go, I want you to draw a line or shape or something on the paper. Don't take too long. Don't do anything complicated. I'm not going to give you much time. Just get something down on a piece of paper. Ready? Go. Okay, stop. Now, take your paper, rotate it 90 degrees. I'm going to do the same thing. When I say go, draw another shape or line. Don't think about it, just draw it. There are no other rules other than to do it quickly. Go. Stop. Rotate your paper again. Same thing. Go. Stop. Rotate your paper one more time. Go. Stop. So now your paper should be back the way it started, right? So I want you to do that again on your own. Just very quickly, shape, rotate, shape, rotate. Do it 4 times so it gets back to where it started. I'll wait here. Okay, now look at what you drew and title your picture. Actually write down the title of your picture on the sheet of paper. I'll wait a moment while you do that. Did that picture end up where you thought it would? Probably not, but it's still something new, right? And I guess I'll leave it up to you to judge its usefulness. If you want to get crazy, take a picture of it and send it to me. I'll be interested to see how it looks. I'll include my email at the end of the class. Finally, I want to introduce you to 2 magic words. If you've ever seen an improv comedy show, you've seen these words in action, even if the players never actually spoke them. The words are yes and. In fact, if you go to www.yesand.com, you'll see that it's the center of all things improv. These words are magic to both improv and creativity in general because they lead people to accept ideas and then build on them. And the more you can do that, the more and the better your ideas will be. You can use these magic words with other people when you're trying to be creative with them, but you can also use them just with yourself. In your inner dialogue, when developing ideas, actively try to say to yourself, yes, and, rather than no, but. So here's the challenge for this next muscle. In your next conversation, try to start everything you say with the phrase yes, and just see where that takes you. In today's masterclass, I've tried to work out your creative muscle. If you are trying to work out physical muscles, You couldn't just watch a 15-minute video about working out and then call yourself in shape, right? It's the same thing here. If you want to develop your creative muscle, you have to keep working it out, keep stretching it, and keep building it. Creativity isn't easy. It takes practice and it takes hard work. But everyone does have this muscle. You just have to use it. It takes practice, knowledge, and experience to foster the type of environment where creativity and innovation can thrive. Acquiring leadership skills is one of the most common reasons why students enroll in my graduate classes. They recognize that while adding a credential or a master's degree to their resume is beneficial, the ability to mobilize people around them to achieve great things is much more valuable. If this is an area where you're looking to improve, I encourage you to reach out to me or our graduate admission office to discuss options for enhancing your leadership skills. Thanks, and I hope this has been helpful to you. And if you ever want to exercise your muscles further, you know where to find me.